Welcome back to Bit by Bit, episode 5.
What up?
Technical difficulties again. We gonna
That's bro favorite lie. That's bro favorite lie. Cool, we'll rock with it.
But yeah, so episode 5, and I kind of already got a name for this episode. I'm gonna call it "Don't Fall Asleep." That's gonna be this episode's name. So we can already get into the first topic. What you want to get into?
All right, we got a list.
Yeah, I do. Oh yeah, we gotta start with the Bitcoin price. That's what we gotta do. Let me see. I kind of already looked at it before we even started recording, but the last I seen is 96.8. So basically almost 97,000. And I think last episode it was what, 94 or was it 100? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It was so long ago because of our technical difficulties.
Yeah, the technical.
Yeah.
Got to get new equipment, all that. Finally back in person.
Yeah, we back in person, so I hope y'all appreciate that.
Okay, so 96,800. That's the Bitcoin price today. All right, and then let me just go to my topics. We getting a little better. We got topics now. All right, so the first thing that I think we should cover is just the price moving sideways and just reiterating how it's an opportunity to stack up, because I feel like when the price is moving sideways, that's what puts people to sleep for some reason.
Yeah. People like excitement. They like things to post about. They like to show off their gains, or even if the market is falling, like it kind of gives you the anticipation of like, when is it going to stop falling, or hey, this is cool because I get a load up like at a crazy discount, or there's memes going around the internet about how everybody's getting cooked and how it's all over. So even when it's falling drastically, that's some level of like entertainment, I guess.
Yeah.
But when it's just consolidating, so that's what trading sideways is consolidation. So when it's in the consolidation phase, then people get rocked to sleep, like he was saying. So you got to think about it like this. When the price goes sideways, that gives you the chance to stack up, to buy more Bitcoin, right? Bit by bit, like the title of the podcast, right? So every week, every 2 weeks, however often you touch some bread, or however often you get paid, you can buy more, right? So just think about it. It's logical. So if you fast forward in your mind and Bitcoin's worth 150,000, you're going to wish you can go back till now and be like, yo, I wish I would have bought more at 95,000, right? So how likely is Bitcoin to get to 150,000? Like 100%, right? So of course we're going to get there, but your pockets need Bitcoin to kind of stay low for now so you can get as much as you can, right? So I used this analogy before, but imagine like we're just going to use $10,000 for simple math or whatever. Imagine Bitcoin's 10K, right? And you put $2,000 in, and the next day it doubles, right?
Yeah.
That's dope. You're going to be excited. You're like, yo, like Bitcoin double overnight. That was so dope. It went from 10K to 20K. But yo, 2,000 went to 4,000. Like, that's a cool return, but I mean, you still got to go to work. Like, you're not getting off the hood with that, right? So you have to see it like this. Or, so that was like the fast route, the flashy route, or the long term route, or like the boring route, or the get rocked to sleep route would be, let's say Bitcoin's at 10,000 and it trades sideways for an entire year. Mm-hmm. But instead of you putting $2,000 in, you were able to get 25,000 in.
I think you said 10,000.
Or 10,000, it doesn't matter.
So
you get 10,000 in.
You got to 50,000 instead of 10.
Yeah, so, wait, I said what?
I think the first analogy you had 10,000 and it doubled to 20.
Okay.
So over the course of a year, instead of you only put in 10, maybe you put in 50.
Oh, yeah, okay, so cool. So let's say you put in 10,000, it doubles overnight. That's cool, you got 20. But let's say it consolidates for a year and you were to get 50,000 in there, and then it doubles. Now you have $100,000, which, I mean, that's not the end of the world, but you still have more money. So you have to look from the end point and then work your way backwards. So the end point is, Bitcoin's going to be at least worth 150, right? 200, 250, whatever your number is, whatever your target is. Me, I think about $1 million Bitcoin, a $5 million Bitcoin, a $10 million Bitcoin, right? So just using the lowest of those, if I'm looking at $1 million Bitcoin and Bitcoin sitting at 96,000, I wish it stay there so I can load up, because when Bitcoin gets to 300,000, I'm only going to be able to buy a third of the Bitcoin that I used to be able to buy.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important for people to go get their own conviction. Like, you can sit here and watch us talk from episode to episode, but if you don't read none of the books, you don't watch...
Do the knowledge.
Yeah, like, if you don't do your knowledge transfer to your own mind, because we could just be talking, but if you don't go actually read the books, you know, go learn about money, watch different videos that we've recommended, you wouldn't have that conviction to, when the price is moving sideways or it's getting boring, to load up, because that's how I was able to stack Bitcoin. And I feel like most people watching this, they just work normal jobs and they get paid either weekly or bi-weekly. And, you know, with it being like that, I've had time to load up. You know, with all the consolidation, you know, that big 6-7 month consolidations in the 60s. Like, imagine if it would have, because I remember at the beginning of the year, it went straight up to like 45, and then it like shot up to like 67 or something. Like, imagine it would have just already just took off to 100, right? Like, I wouldn't be able to get as much Bitcoin as I have now because no consolidation. But just because of that consolidation period, I was able to load up for months on end. And even when I see consolidation, the way I see it, just like he was saying, is I know for a fact the price is going to be higher than it is today in the next 3 to 4 years. You know, because I remember in like, I think this was like March of 24 when we went to Tulum. I had bought some Bitcoin out there, and then the Bitcoin price was at like 60, or just had hit 70, all-time high of 70, and I still bought. And in my head, I was like, damn, like, I remember we were talking, I'm like, damn, what, 70? And you're just like, you know, if you think about it, like, imagine the people back then who were buying Bitcoin at a $5,000 Bitcoin, and then the people who are buying at 3,000, like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference from 5 to 3, even though that's a pretty substantial percentage difference. But if you like blow it up over the long enough time frame, it doesn't really matter. So that also gave me enough conviction reading books. So me personally, when it's moving sideways like this, I'd be happy for it to stay here for another month or 2 or 3, because I'm trying to load up as much Bitcoin as possible.
I see all the excitement die out on social media though.
Yeah.
Like, you say something about Bitcoin, like, you know, them retweets kind of slow down, them likes kind of slow down because people aren't geeked up about it. And you're like, man, like, human nature is kind of backwards. You should be excited at this point, you know, because Bitcoin 10x this week and you only got, you know, 0.00008 of a Bitcoin. Like, bro, like, it's gonna be cool, but you're not gonna really be celebrating like the rest of us, you know. So we know where it's going. We know where it's going based on the knowledge that we did. So if you're not doing the knowledge, you're gonna be like, well, I don't get it, or I don't see the bigger picture. So then what ends up happening is you start looking for shortcuts. So you go, oh, this is kind of boring. I need some more excitement. Let me go try this, or let me go try that. Like, do you remember, bro? You remember me and him be sending like, we be cracking jokes and shit. And the whole market, like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, the whole market was getting cooked. And somebody on Twitter was like, hey, is anybody making money on meme coins today? It was, y'all know what day I'm talking about. It was like the worst day.
I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It's like every coin was down like 38%.
Every coin was down 30%. Bitcoin was down 8%. And she just hopped up. Was like, anybody making money on memes today? And you're like, yo, read the...
Yeah, your disconnect is ridiculous.
You're disconnected, bro. Everybody's getting cooked, right? Everybody's getting fried, whatever. But that goes to say that, like, bro, you have the opportunity to buy, you know, like I feel like not even every generation, maybe every century, like people have an opportunity to participate in something that's going to like shape history, right? Like a new financial system. Like your grandpa ain't having no new financial system, nor did his grandpa, nor did his grandpa. You know, the financial system has been set in stone for a long time. So your grandparents, y'all watching this, maybe they were able to fight in Vietnam or maybe World War II or something, you know, or maybe even the Civil Rights Movement. There's these certain things that define generations. And now what we have that, you know, would define our times is like, yo, there's a free and a fair new monetary system where these central bankers aren't in control, bullying governments, which then you turn and bully the citizens, which then they turn and bully each other. And like, bro, this is a whole new system that you can participate and be a part of. And as long as you understand what's going on, as long as you go do the knowledge, and you're like, bro, this is actually dope. Like at some point in your journey when you was learning about all this, I'm sure it hit you and you're like, yo, this is way bigger than I thought.
Yeah, really.
Like this ain't just.
I think what it is that I think a lot of people know, maybe not know to an extent, but they know that Bitcoin could be their answer or is the answer. But they're kind of scared to go find the truth, because then that means everything that comes to reality, that everything else they were learning or everything they thought they knew was bullshit.
All right, tell me something that was bullshit that people would have learned, or that you had to learn. Like, what did you go learn about, or when you were learning about Bitcoin, and then you were like, hey, actually, all that other stuff is bullshit?
To me, the stock market. Because I remember when we first met, I was building my dividend portfolio. So I would say the two biggest things that I found out were bullshit were real estate and the stock market. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think with real estate and the stock market, if you're using those to make money, then like go ahead, because you can be a home builder flipping houses. You can be doing
but as a store of value.
As a store of value. That's what I mean. So like, because growing up, all you hear about is, okay, you buy your stocks, you get your house, you store your money there. So then once I started learning about Bitcoin and learning about the whole monetary system and learning about like the true inflation rate, and you just start realizing like, damn, like these things are either underpacing or just keeping up.
All right, so you're saying one of the reasons why you realize that the stock market, let's say example, is bullshit is because you're just keeping up with inflation.
Yeah. Right?
And then what about like real estate? And when he says real estate, he's talking about like rental properties, not talking about the home you live in. Like, hey, you want to go buy a house, bro, whether that makes financial sense or not, go buy yourself a house if you want a house, right? But we're talking about the investing aspects of real estate.
So like just the whole rental property game. And even when I was younger, like when I was like 17, 18, I was like, okay, how I'm going to grow my wealth is through real estate. I think every entrepreneur or like investor journey, you start off by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know the younger people start off by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was kind of my break to like, okay, let me learn about finance, was Rich Dad Poor Dad. But that book is even bullshit, if we're being honest. But I will attest that it's a good book to just get you interested, you know, just the whole story behind it. Like you think he got a rich dad.
You know, people talk shit about that book, but for a lot of people, that's the first time someone's ever even going to explain how the system works. Like, dog, your uncle probably not telling you that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Your pops probably not telling you that type of stuff. Your mom probably don't even know that type of stuff. So when when you 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, you don't even know how the world works. Like, you know what I mean? You just started getting hair under your arms and stuff. So now, you know, like you're trying to figure out how the world works. So if you read that book, actually, they do make sense. But the biggest lesson in that whole book is not in the book, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the biggest lesson in the whole book is bro got rich selling the book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Bro got rich selling the book. So the biggest lesson out of that book is if you want to get rich, sell a product.
Like, because it wasn't that he was this real estate mogul. Because if you go and try to backtest like the real estate that he's developed or owned or rented out, you can't really find much on that. Where his success was I think he's
an educator.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing wrong with being an educator. he was an educator and he ran it up. So, but you were saying
that was that was kind of my first introduction to like just the whole like finance, like just finance in general, right? So I seen like, okay, you get a property, you have a rental property, that's how you grow wealth. So I started like researching more and more and more. And then even then it didn't really make sense to me to the like, okay, if I get a property, then I have a mortgage, then I have tenants that stay in there, and then your cash flow is like $100. And then when I was young, I'm like, what about, any maintenance issues or anything that goes wrong? Like, how do you cover that? And I'm like, I'm going to put all this money down on a house and, put all this energy and effort to having a tenant there for $100-$200 worth of cash flow.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'll correct you there. So there's 4 different ways you make money when you put a tenant in your house, right? So it's not just the cash flow. The cash flow is one of them. Yeah. So yeah, you're right though. Like most people are going to cash flow $200 and they're like, yeah, just go get 10 more of these and you'll be all right. Bro, what? You know what I mean?
But I will say that's what the people are preaching.
Yeah. I get. So imagine you just save up like a 20 piece and you're like, all right, here we go. It's my first house, right? You cash flow 200 and somebody's like, all right, just go do that 10 more times. You'd be like, nah, you're tripping.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you have your cash flow. Like that's one way that you're building your wealth, right? And then you have your loan pay down. So you borrow $200,000, that tenant is paying down the loan, right? But up front, you're just paying towards interest, but it's not you paying, it's your tenant paying, right? And then 3, you have your appreciations. You buy the house for $200,000, every year it goes up 5 to 8%, right? So you're growing your wealth that way. So if you think about it, you have what you owe going down, and then you have how much it's worth going up. So that spread is your equity, right? So that's another way that you'll make money. That's the third way. And then 4 is all the tax breaks and tax deductions that you get from owning it, right? So boom, you have these 4 different ways to make money in real estate, right? Then consider the headaches, right? Now consider everything that can go wrong, right? Or even if you think about it, like there's people who can pull strings and slow the entire market down, right? Like quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, it can slow the market down, right? Interest rates go up. So you notice the interest rates start going up after 2022 and the housing market froze. You don't see anybody bragging about their appreciation on their house recently, do you? Right? So just think about it. Like if you think about that, it's speculation. So when I name these 3 or 4 different ways that you make money in real estate, the appreciation part is speculating. Right? You're speculating on whether it's going to go up or not, right? So if they increase the interest rate, why that slows down the real estate market is because if I have a home that I bought for and I got a 3% interest rate and the current interest rate is 7%, and I'm going to sell that house and I need somewhere to live, so I'm going to sell that house and go buy another house, but the another house I got to buy, I'm not going to pay 7%, or I could just stay where I'm at and wait this out, right? So what ends up happening is all the people who are sitting on that equity, they aren't going to sell because then they're selling into a worse market. Right? So you have homes that just aren't moving. You have people who aren't willing to sell, right? And then you have maybe, let's say, new people coming up that they're going to go get their first home. Now they have to consider like, hey, am I going to buy a house and with 7% interest? And like I said, the majority of the time in the beginning of that loan, you're just paying your interest, right? And then you have the realtors who are selling you that bullshit. So remember, me and him be getting on realtors' ass because when the interest rate hit 7%, people are like, yeah, what they say, marry the house and date the rate or something like that. Like basically get in at 7%. You'll be able to refi later.
I heard that shit so many times.
Yeah, like bro, like the saying goes, don't ask the barber if you need a haircut. Right? Like you go talk to a realtor about a home and of course they're gonna say this is a good deal. Of course you could build wealth this way, you could do this, you could do that.
That's the fastest way to build.
Yeah, like hey bro, be for real. Because you're relying on, let's say, the bank, right? So you buy, you're in at 7%, you want to refi because the current rates are at 4%. Hopefully they let you. Right? You got some equity in your house, you want to pull it out, you want to do a cash out refi. Hopefully they let you, right? So me and my best friend, like, he was a big real estate guy. And I was into real estate as well. And this dude's on the phone with the bank trying to do a cash out refi during COVID. And they're like, yeah, we're not doing that right now. And you're like, imagine this was a part of your grand strategy to come up, that you were going to be able to pull this equity out, roll that into the next deal, but that requires the bank to be like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Now think about this: if you wanted to sell your Bitcoin, right, you press sell.
Yeah, liquid as hell.
It's liquid. You just press sell. That's the end of the transaction. You don't need the bank. You don't need the Federal Reserve. You don't need nobody to approve it. You don't got to pay a million different fees. Like, I sold that house that's up by the airport. I bought the house for $370. I sold for $450. Right?
Was it $450?
I think so. I do know how much I paid in all those fees though. It was like $62,000. It cost me $62,000 to sell my house.
Yeah.
I posted on Twitter. I'm like, yo, like, what? You know how much it would cost me to sell a Bitcoin right now?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Like,
almost nothing,
bro. So imagine this 62,000, right? So let's say you cough up, I don't know, even if it was 10%. So if we saw that 450, let's say $45,000. You're giving up 10% of what you earned,
yeah,
to a bunch of random people, right? For whatever reason. You're like, all right. So, but mind you, getting into real estate, people aren't talking about that. They can be like, yeah, I bought it for $200 and it's worth $1 million. Like, okay, press sell.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying? Press sell then.
That's
like,
what I was also going to say, like, just a lot of like the real estate, and me myself, I'm not a real estate guru and I don't claim to be, but I just see a lot of real estate. I read up on it a little bit, but you'll see like a lot of the real estate gurus, like you're saying, like, yeah, I bought it for 200, I did this and I flipped it for this is the profit, but you never see them crunch the actual numbers of what that really looks like.
Exactly. Or they don't even talk about how the insurance goes up when the value of the house goes up, right? So like we say, like the nominal value of your house goes up, which then sends your insurance cost up, right? And sends your taxes up as well. And I'm like, bro, as long as I've been buying real estate, holding real estate, I've never heard nobody talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. I'm like, bro, I might be the first person to bring that to people's attention.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they are playing with you. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it's in, like, think about it. If you were to buy a home and own that home forever, that kind of hurts the economy.
Yeah.
Right? Because then if you stop, let's say you don't have to pay property taxes on it or whatever, right? Like that kind of hurts the economy. But then that means your son doesn't go buy a house. He's just gonna, you know, like his housing costs for the rest of his life is taken care of because of you. And then his son, same thing, right? And you're like, no, you kind of need every member of society to work as much as possible and to pay for everything as much as possible. So it becomes this paradox. So if you think about the medical industry is that way too, right? So curing something and treating the symptoms are two completely different ball games, right? So if you have a medical system that's built for profit, you can just bet your best dollar that you're not going to be curing people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That slows up the profit, right? So ending the problem permanently is not good for the numbers. So it makes you think like, okay, at some point, the country has to ask themselves, like, are we doing what we do or how we structure our society for profit or for people? Because it can't be both, right? So is it going to be for profit or is it going to be for people? So when it comes to reassessing the value of your home up, I talk about this a lot because people don't talk to you about this, right? Yeah. So the value of your house goes up from $500,000 to $1 million. The insurance company is going to say, yo, we're not insuring a $500K house no more. Yeah. We're insuring $1 million house. So it's going to rise, right? And then the government is going to say, you're not paying taxes on $500K anymore. You're paying on $1 million, right? Now, you as the owner need to hope and pray and do whatever you got to do to make sure that your income is rising to meet, you know, the new expenses. Your insurance went up, your taxes went up, the value of your house went up. But mind you, the value of your house goes up, so you have equity, but you can't spend that. Yeah. Right? So what ends up happening is this, if you let this play out long enough, it forces people out of their house. right? Because majority of their housing costs don't even go to the mortgage payments anymore. It goes to taxes and insurance, which is money that, doesn't go back to you. So you start to realize, like, man, this game ain't really what
they paint it out to be.
I'm not telling y'all to not go buy no house. Or I'm not telling y'all to, I'm saying, like, bro, like, look at things in black and white. Take your emotions out of it, right? Like, take your emotions out of it and see things for what they are. Take your emotions out of it and price the stock market in gold.
Yeah.
We've been trading sideways for 30 years.
You can even price the S&P 500 with the monetary expansion, like the M2.
Yeah,
it's a chart.
Global M2.
Yeah. If you do...
We're going to put the charts up right here, by the way.
If you do a SPY chart divided by M2, you'll see that the S&P 500 is just tracking M2. So whatever the monetary expansion was for that year, that's what SPY returns. So you're really just keeping up with inflation. Like, you're not getting any poorer, but you're also not getting any richer.
Yeah. So my analogy for that is that if you buy a house for $500,000 and now it's worth $1 million, logically you would want to say, let's sell the $1 million house, right, and go buy another $500,000 house, a similar house that we already live in, and then we'll put the money in our pocket, right? That's what your logic will tell you, right? Like, if I want to pocket that equity, I'll sell out of my house, buy a similar house for $500K, or maybe even $600K, $700K, and then keep the difference in my pocket. Now I have some money to operate with.
Yeah.
But when you go to pull that move off, what you realize is every other similar house to yours is also $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So you didn't get wealthier, right? So the numbers went up on the paper, but you didn't get any wealthier. And I need you guys to understand that that's a very key component into understanding or valuing Bitcoin, is to understand that the goal is to get wealthier, right? The goal is to get wealthier, not for numbers on a paper to go up.
Yeah.
It's to actually have more purchasing power, right? Purchasing power over the numbers going up. So purchasing power would be, I buy a house for $500,000. It's now worth $1 million. I can sell that house and buy 2 houses.
Yeah.
Right? That means your purchasing power grew. Right? Or maybe you can't buy 2 houses, so 2 $500,000 houses. Right? That means your house specifically went up against the market, and now you have more purchasing power. Or let's say your house goes up to $1 million. You sell out and the house that's similar to yours is $750.
Yeah.
So now you can buy one house and pocket $250, right? That means your purchasing power grew. But if you were to sell that house and you go buy another house that's similar and it costs the same exact amount what you sold your house for, you got richer on paper, but you didn't grow in any purchasing power. The name of this game is purchasing power.
And I just think it's so important for people to just understand, because I think everybody understands inflation at a base level, but I don't think people understand it being like the expansion of the monetary supply. I don't think people grasp that part of it.
Yeah, they blame the corporations.
Yeah, like they just, this place is just making this more expensive for whatever reason. Like, they don't really understand why it has to be more expensive. So,
and that ties into what you were just saying about the stock market is just measuring the growth of the monetary supply. Okay, so y'all, when y'all going to evaluate a company, right, and you're going to look at the finances of a company, right, and you're saying, I don't know, Campbell's Chicken Soup or Campbell's Soup or Kroger, right, you want to make sure that Kroger is making more money year over year. Okay. Now, again, remember I was saying earlier, do you want things to be for profit or for people?
Yeah.
So by you even participating in this, like, Kroger needs to make more money than they did last year. That means they need to raise the prices, right? Who does that hurt? Everyone who shops at Kroger, right? But you're like, all right, whatever. That's like a necessary evil. I'll take that. So if there's more money in the economy, so Kroger has to raise their prices. So then when they sell the same amount of units, but they sell them at a slightly higher price, of course they made more money.
Exactly.
Right? So then the stock goes up to reflect that, hey, we made more money. But really, the stock is just reflecting that there's all this new growth in the whole monetary supply. So you start to see through these things, right? You start to learn about all this stuff when you learn about Bitcoin, because learning about Bitcoin forces you to learn about actual money and how it affects people and, the economy. So that's, man, it's like you said, it forces us to see, like, yo, a lot of this shit is bullshit.
Yeah, like, just going back to, like, me realizing everything was bullshit, I think that's what was my eye-opener and, like, my real main catalyst to, like, I need to go all into this. Like, we were talking about diversification earlier. Like, at first still kind of had a dividend portfolio, and then as I started learning more and more and more, I'm like, why wouldn't I put all my money into the best performing asset? Like,
why would you take second place?
Yeah, like, why does it need to touch anything else? And a lot of the things weren't even second place. They're like 10th place, 15th place. Like, I just feel like growing up and even on my whole, like, financial journey, like, you just think naturally, I need to diversify into a whole lot of different things. Because way before we met, I started off with a dividend portfolio, and I had like 30 different stocks. And what was funny was, before AMC had blew up, this was like 2020, like early 2020, I was buying like some dividend stocks, and I was just buying like different stocks that I thought, like, okay, the economy shut down, like movie theaters, people need to go back to movie theaters. Let me buy some AMC. Then I'm like, the airlines, let me buy some airline stocks. I was just thinking like that, right? But my money that I think I had like maybe $6,000 at the time.
Bro was putting $30.
Yeah, like
bro put $30 in
just to diversify. Just to diversify. Like, I had like $100 here, $50 here, $80 here, $600 here. And what was crazy is, like, a lot of those positions, like, went to 100%, 150% return. Some went to 30. Some didn't even pan out. AMC did it, but I had like $10 in there or something like. And I just started to realize, like, damn, like, I'm spreading myself so thin, diversifying into so many things. Imagine if I would have just had all of my money in one.
Yeah, looking back, what would you have done? Like, still keeping Bitcoin out of it, but knowing what you know now, but you can only invest in the stock market. What would you have done there, since you're saying, like, hey, I shouldn't have been diversifying that much?
So are you saying, like, what one stock or
which one stock or which few stocks, and how would you even have come to that conclusion? Like, are you looking for quality? Are you looking for what had the best?
So yeah, I would look for because during that time all the companies were getting beat up. So I would have looked for like a profitable big company, like, let's say like Tesla, because like, or like Amazon, like these companies are too big to fail. They're gonna rebound, even though no matter how bad the chart starts looking, eventually these companies are gonna rebound because these are good companies. So I think I would have maybe went like Tesla, Amazon, and then I think I would have done one speculation. It would have probably been like AMC. I'm saying that because AMC really played out, but that's what my thinking was. Like, if I really had the conviction that I really had in the way I thought, like, eventually these movie theaters are going to open back up.
Yeah.
So the money's going to start rolling back. So that's what my thought was.
Bro, during the pandemic, I used to have a whiteboard. Right, like the whiteboard I got over there. I used to have a whiteboard, and I used to always post what I was watching. Right, so I'd be like, "Yo, this fell. Like, this how far it fell. It's getting ready to run. I want to sell it when it gets to 80% of wherever it fell from." So hypothetically, if a stock is trading, if it fell from $100 to $20, then I'd be like, I'll buy it now at 20 when it's consolidating, and I'll sell it when it gets to $80. But I would have a bunch of them. There's videos that I post on Twitter where I just scroll through my portfolio, and like you said, I probably got 30-40 stocks, and I'm up big on the day because all these things are moving. But then on the bad days, what would happen, because when the market was recovering, it only took 100 days to recover.
Yeah.
When the market was recovering, there was like green day, green day, green day, green day, red day, green day, green day, green day. But what would happen is on those red days, some of those losses or some of these groups of stocks would lose so much that you're like, damn, my portfolio would have grew even more if I didn't have these things in.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it went up when it went up, but when it went down because what would happen is when a red day would come, people would panic and they'd be like, is this a reversal? Because we weren't sure exactly is this the market officially recovering, or is this just, like a dead cat bounce or whatever, like they call it. So that kind of makes you realize, like, yo, you do want things that go up when everything goes up, but you also want to limit the downside.
Yep.
And if you think like that, you can throw those things that would have the worst downside out, right? Mm-hmm. Because y'all watching this, like, the name of the game is not to make money. The name of the game is to not lose money.
People do not understand that.
You have to not lose money, right? So if I told you, all right, hypothetically, I have a trading group, right? Well, I do have a trading group, the Wealth Scout, right? But let's say I have a trading group, and I'm telling you, like, we have a 90% hit rate, right? Like 9 out of 10 times that we trade, we win, right? Mm-hmm. What you don't realize, or what y'all might not realize, is I cannot be profitable with a 90% hit rate.
Yep.
Because on that one time I miss, I can lose everything, right? I could full port and lose, right? So when people are talking about like their win rates and all that stuff, like, okay, that makes sense, assuming that they're trading with the same position size, they have the same stop loss, they have all those things, right? But you start to look at what people do to manipulate beginners is they start talking about all these different metrics, like, hey, I have a 90% win rate, blah, blah, like, bro, are you profitable, right, or not, right? And so anyways, I said that to say this, the name of the game is to not lose your money. You're working hard, like, and you have to start looking at your money like energy, right? Like, you go to work all week and people take that energy and they fill this bottle up. You don't want to go around throwing this bottle around because you're disrespect. This is your work. This is your life energy. Like, you have to leave your family for that, right? You have to leave your family, go sit in traffic, deal with your punk ass boss, all the things I always say, right? So you don't want to just walk around spilling this bottle. You don't want to lose money, right? And because when you take a loss financially, it takes that much more of a return to get back to even. Right? So if you take a 50% loss, it takes 100% return to get back to even, right? Mm-hmm. So to prove my point, y'all watching this, all right, if a stock's at $100 and it goes down 50% and then up 50%, you're not at $100.
Yeah, 75.
You're at $75, right? So you went down 50%, up 50%. So if the market crashes 50% one day, and then the next day you're like, well, we're good, we're up 50%.
Yeah.
No, you're down.
Yep.
Right? So if the market goes down 50%, you're at $50, you need a 100% return just to get back to where you started from.
Yeah.
So you see how much energy and effort it will take to move your position right back to break even.
Yeah, just break even.
So what you start to learn, and this is a part of financial maturity, is that it's more important to not lose money.
Yeah. And I think it's just everybody likes the flashing lights. Just, okay, upside, how much can I make? When it's like, okay, I need to focus on because you got to think what you're willing to lose, and you need to pick the assets that aren't going to move too far going down on the downside.
When Bitcoin went down 7%, all those other altcoins were down 40%.
Like, imagine your Bitcoin stash being down 40-50% in one day. Like, that would be
terrible. But I would imagine where would everything else be?
Yeah, exactly.
Vaporize. Coinbase like, hey, delisting. like because look, the day might come where we take a 50% L in a day, right? But that's one, I see it like it's down 50% when you measure in dollars. I still have the same amount of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so if Bitcoin goes down 7% and fuck coin goes down 30%,
Yeah.
What's going to happen when Bitcoin goes down 30%?
Yeah, exactly. Your coin's gonna be down 80%.
It's going to be vaporware, bro.
Vaporized.
Hey, they're going to
And
vaporize.
that's even why, like, when all these like super red days, everybody's tripping. All these like memes you see where it's an old man, they be like, me in the crypto market. I'm like, hey, not me.
Yeah, not
that's,
me.
That's not
Not me.
That's not my crypto experience or my like investing experience.
Yeah, because they be. You see, the thing is, something like y'all, when y'all get on Twitter, bro, y'all be on crypto Twitter, but you need to be on Bitcoin Twitter specifically, because all that laughing my ass off, I lost my life savings, and you would like read up and down the timeline, and you would think this is the worst day in the world.
Yeah.
Then you go check Bitcoin, and it's down 2%.
Yeah, 2%.
And you're like, oh, they not exposed to Bitcoin.
Like,
they have all their money in
like,
fuck coins.
Imagine if you've seen the like pricing your altcoins at Bitcoin, but if any of the viewers, if y'all just go check like your coin priced in Bitcoin, a lot of them, you remember when them altcoins made that little like had that little push up for like 20 days or so. Like if you go look at like, let's say if you look at Cardano, ADA divided in Bitcoin, you'll see it's just like a small little pop. Mm-hmm. And then you just see a new low created.
You know what I was gonna say, because sometimes I read the comments when we drop these, or whenever we post the price it in Bitcoin things.
Yeah.
What I've realized based on the comments and stuff that I've read is that people don't understand exactly what they're looking at when they see a chart of, like let's say you're looking at, I don't know, XRP or whatever, and it's just going straight down against Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But so when someone's like, hey, XRP is up, and you're like pricing Bitcoin and it's down, I don't think that it registers in there. It could be XRP, it could be anything, right? You can even tell people who like Apple stock, and you could say, hey, pricing in Bitcoin. I don't think that they understand why they should price in Bitcoin, or I don't think they understand like what exactly they're looking at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't think it connects, because if you're saying, if I'm like, yo, I like Apple stock, and you're like pricing Bitcoin, I don't like Bitcoin, so why would I price in Bitcoin?
Exactly.
So I don't think that it connects for them, right? So let's try to explain why should you
if you're
price something in Bitcoin.
So I can briefly start with like, okay, if you're into all these like different altcoins or just anything, all these different cryptos, the US dollar valuation doesn't really matter for your coin, because you're comparing it to the king, which is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the top guy, that's what moves the market. So your comparison needs to be, okay, this is the king. Am I outperforming the king? Am I keeping up with the king? So the US dollar valuation shouldn't matter to you. So what a lot of people say is the Satoshi valuation of your portfolio. So let's say if you're investing in Cardano. So if you go on TradingView and if you do 1 divided by ADA divided by Bitcoin, it will show you how much Cardano can you get for 1 Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So let's say in 2021 when it was booming, let's say it took, I don't know, 500 Cardano to get 1 Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And then if you go look at that 1 divided by ADA divided by Bitcoin, if you go look at the chart now, it'll show you that now it may cost you 8,000 Cardano just to get 1 Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So the USD valuation doesn't really give you any, doesn't give you that much intel, because Bitcoin is what the king is. So you need to see, okay, am I outperforming the king or not? Because you're taking on more risk for less return. Yeah. So
that's a good point. It's the risk you're taking to get the return.
Yeah. So like if you're only paying attention to the USD valuation, you lose a lot of like information on what's going on. So let's say, okay, Cardano this year, okay, in terms of dollars, it's up 22%. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm up 22%. But when I price it in Bitcoin, it's down 87%.
So you're saying if I would have just put my money in Bitcoin, I would have more wealth.
Exactly.
Right. All right. So that's a good explanation, bro. This is how I would explain the price in Bitcoin and why it matters. All right. So I'm gonna go back to the famous house thing that I always use, the Las Vegas house, right? So I always use this scenario because you can imagine, without even seeing the chart, you can imagine there's two different charts, right? So imagine there's two different charts, right? So when I bought my Las Vegas house, it cost me $530 US. Bitcoin at the time was $10,000, 10,000 US dollars, right? So the house is now worth $800,000.
Yeah.
So keeping Bitcoin out of it, you would go, oh, my house is up, right? I'm up on the house. I'm up $270,000 on the house.
Yeah.
So if you were to put that on a chart, right? If you were charting this house, right? The value of the house in dollars is going up, right? So you're looking at this chart and you're like, look, the value of the house is going up, right? Now, this is why we say look at things in Bitcoin. Because if you go look at this priced in Bitcoin, right? The house might be worth $800,000 now, but Bitcoin is worth, we'll say 100,000 for quick math. So the house would have been worth 53 Bitcoin when I bought it, and now it's worth 8 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So if we were to look at that on a chart, the value of the house is going down, right? So if you're looking at in dollars, house is going up, and Bitcoin, house is going down, right? So take that. So I hope that makes perfect sense to y'all. That makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
I hope that makes perfect sense to y'all. Now, apply that same exact thing to Apple stock.
Yeah.
Apple stock is going up when you look at it in dollars. But when you look at it in Bitcoin, Apple stock is going down.
Yeah.
When you look at Microsoft in Bitcoin, it's going down. When you look at the S&P 500 in Bitcoin, it's going down. When you look at any altcoin, it's going down. When you look at meme coins, whatever fuck coins, they're going down.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're looking at something in dollars, then you're like, yeah, this is a good investment. This is a good investment. But if you were to look at it in Bitcoin or even gold, you would see that they're either not growing or they're just trading sideways.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope that makes sense. Now, why? Let's say you're not into Bitcoin, or you're, a newbie watching this, and you would say, well, why do I need to look at it in gold, or why do I need to look at it in Bitcoin, right? And my answer is because those things are harder to manipulate, right? So if you just keep bringing a bunch of dollars into the room, and someone's want to sell, I want to sell this water to OJ, and people just keep bringing dollars into the room, I'm going to start off at $2, but I'm like, yo, there's so many dollars in here. Yeah. Hey, actually, let me get $4. Let me get $5. So the whole global economy keeps producing more dollars and more dollars and more dollars. So the things in the economy that you would want to buy are naturally going to go up in dollars, right? So that's why we say, like, hey, is your asset growing, or is that just inflation?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when you look at gold, it takes energy and effort to go mine gold, right? The supply of gold grows at like 2% per year. Yeah. So it's not manipulated as easy as the dollar. The supply of dollars grow at like 10% a year, right? Between like 6 and 10% a year, right? So when you go price something in gold, you're like, all right, this will tell me, is this thing really growing or not? Because it's hard to just bring new gold in, right? So when you go price it in dollars, you go price it in gold, you start realizing, like, okay, this thing isn't growing like I was supposed to. So if I wanted to sell OJ this in gold, I would say, hey, bring me 3 gold nuggets. And I'm waiting for more gold to come through the door. I'm like, they're not really bringing more nuggets through that door. We good with 3 gold nuggets. Yeah. Let's make a deal. Maybe 3.1 gold nuggets. Let's make a deal, right? Now, with Bitcoin, we know there's 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be made, right? So when you're sitting there looking at the door saying, how are they going to bring any more Bitcoin in? No.
Yeah.
They're not. You know what I'm saying? So if you want some of that Bitcoin, or if you want to make this deal, you're going to have to say, hey, I can't go up in price. right?
Yeah,
I got to go down in price, right? Because the value of the Bitcoin is going up. So you're like, okay, I wanted 3 Bitcoin for this, but now I want 1 Bitcoin. And then fast forward years later, give me 0.000001 Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So another way I'll put that, I know I'm yapping right now, bro, but another way I'll put that is like, think about like a salary, right? Let's say somebody is your personal assistant, they're your chef, they're your driver, they're everything, like all in one for you, right? And you're agreeing to pay them $100,000 a year, about $100,000 a year, because that's fair, you know, for all the work they put in. That's about fair. If you're paying them in dollars, right, and more money keeps flooding in the economy, their salary is going to go up and up and up and up, because they need to be able to keep up with the cost of inflation, right? But let's say you were paying them in Bitcoin, right? If he was paying them in Bitcoin, he'd say, okay, your salary is 1 Bitcoin, right? And then 2 years from now, Bitcoin's at 200,000.
Yeah.
Right? What's going to happen is he's not going to pay them 200,000, because that's like, you don't double somebody's salary that fast, because the work that they're giving you didn't move that fast, right? So you can go, okay, I do want to give you a slight pay raise, but it's not going to be 1 whole Bitcoin anymore, right? So now we're going to go down to half a Bitcoin, right? Or maybe we'll go down to a little bit more than half a Bitcoin, 0.55 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying? And then let's say years later, Bitcoin's at $1 million, right? Then you're like, all right, your salary now is going to be 0.12 Bitcoin.
Yeah. So
if you were to look at their salary on a chart, in Bitcoin terms, it's going down because the value of Bitcoin is going up.
Yeah.
Right? But if you were to look at it in dollar terms, you got to pay them up. So what you're measuring something in, that shit matters a lot.
The most.
That's the
most important thing.
It's the most important thing. So you don't want to go measure things and think in something that could be manipulated like the dollar. Right? They just keep making more and more and more of. So when we say measure things in gold or measure things in Bitcoin, it's because you're trying to get a realistic view on how valuable this thing is. I hope that makes sense to you.
And I feel like a lot of people, after this video, I'm sure in the last one, they maybe kind of got in a little bit of grasp to do that. But I just think, because I don't even look at the USD valuations of any other coins, like, not that I trade them, I just kind of keep up with the market. All my charts are just priced in Bitcoin. Like I was saying, the USD, and how he was explaining, USD valuation doesn't even matter. And I think it also, some people out there purposely only look at the USD valuation. They pretend like they don't understand that the chart is just doing this against Bitcoin, because they just want to, it's easier to cope with the USD value, because your coin doesn't look like it's getting that hardly rocked in terms of the US dollar, you know. But if you price that bitch in Bitcoin, you're just like, damn, this shit not doing nothing.
So look, I want y'all to think about this. Consider this. If it's your goal to earn as much wealth as possible, price everything in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because if something isn't growing in Bitcoin, just buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. that's basically what I'm trying to say is, like, why, like, if you just put your portfolio, like, because I know there's going to be people watching this who got a shit ton of, like, shit coins. It's like, if you just price them in Bitcoin, you're just going to think, okay, I just witnessed my portfolio being down 40% within a week, right? And I'm not even outperforming Bitcoin.
Yeah, what's the point of taking the risk, right, to not outperform Bitcoin? What's the point of trusting all these other people? You got to trust this development team, you got to trust the marketing team, you got to trust this guy, that girl, this person, that person, that dog over there, the worms. You got to trust all these people to not outperform Bitcoin.
And I think, everything, it doesn't matter what it is, everything eventually over a long enough period of time will bleed against Bitcoin. Like, if you take Solana, currently it's outperforming, but you're gonna have a few coins that just incepted a few years ago, that in their first inception, first cycle, you can find like a few coins that they've outperformed Bitcoin for one cycle, but 2 cycles you can't name too many coins. 3 cycles you can't name any.
All right, so going back to that house analogy, right? So remember how we were saying, like, if we're looking on the dollar chart, it looks like the house is going up.
Yeah.
If you look on a Bitcoin chart, it looks like the chart is going down. So let's say someone's like, all right, bro, but you can't live in your Bitcoin, right? Like, but I want a house. My family wants a house, right? Think about this, bro. If your goal was to get a house, you would just save your money in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'll get to your house faster. So that's something I'm trying to, like, get people to see. Is whatever financial goals you have, whatever it is you want to do in the world, Bitcoin helps you get there.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say the house, like I was saying, is $530,000. Let's say hypothetically you have 200 grand. You're like, all right, I can either keep saving up for this house to buy it $530 in cash, or I can use some of it, put it as a down payment, and pay the mortgage or whatever, right? Or you're like, oh, I remember what Chris says, and I'm going to buy the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So $10,000 Bitcoin, you have $200,000. That gets you 20 Bitcoin, right? So you get 20 Bitcoin, and then we fast forward till now, where this house now costs 8 Bitcoin, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're able to buy 2 of the houses.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So now your goal of buying a house just got there way quicker. You're able to buy more houses. If you would have put that money in the house, it wouldn't have grown against Bitcoin. It would have went up in dollars, but not against Bitcoin. If you would have saved in Bitcoin instead of buying one house, now you could buy 2 houses and still have some money left over. So we understand that people have real life goals out here, and that you want to buy a house for your family, or maybe you want to, I don't know, pay for a private vacation or private schooling or whatever. Like, Bitcoin is the savings route to get you there faster. That's all I want to add.
And I would even say, like, I think people think that we're preaching save in Bitcoin, don't spend your Bitcoin on anything. Like, everybody has their own why they're doing this. Mm-hmm. So, like, for you, if that's to save up for a house or you vacation or put your kids through school, like, that's what you could use it for. And even like mortgages and borrowing money as a Bitcoin, I just think that's such a great financial instrument. Like, I don't have to shell my $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah, you don't have to cash out on this product. You could get a loan.
Yeah, exactly, and pay over time. So instead of putting $200,000-$300,000 on a house, I can just put 20, 30 grand, keep the rest of my Bitcoin, just pay over slowly. So it just depends. Like I was saying, it just depends what your whole goal is.
Yeah, but Bitcoin for sure is going to help you get where you want to get financially faster, right? It's going to give you more purchasing power. So if you're looking to purchase things, you need purchasing power. And if you want more purchasing power, use Bitcoin. All right. So going back to what you were saying, that like every now and again something outperforms Bitcoin for the year or something.
Yeah, I was saying you can find things that for one cycle it may outperform Bitcoin, like Solana, but you're not going to be able to find coins that's outperform. You may have one coin, or it's very hard to find coins that's outperformed Bitcoin for 2 cycles, and I don't think there's been one that's outperformed it for 3, because everything, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's like these lights, these water or shit coins, everything over time is going to fall or bleed against Bitcoin. So if you look at, like, what was a popular coin? Like Chainlink. Like, at a certain point when Chainlink was first launched, it was outperforming big, I think 2017 or so. Yeah. And then if you look at 2025 now, you go look at that Chainlink Bitcoin chart, you can see that shit is just
and people aren't smart enough to sell the top because nobody knows when the top is.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you get ahead of somebody in a race and you don't know to end the race right there.
Yeah,
like, I won, because you can't. It's not your rules to the race. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I want to talk about that it's kind of like the most important thing, but people don't kind of realize it. They don't realize how important it is. It's called compound interest, right? The compounding effect. So Bitcoin, The last 2 years, it has had 100% return each year. I think 154 and 120, right? So hypothetically, we're just going to say that we end this year at 100% return, right? 3 years of 100% return. All right. So you know how sometimes you might talk about Bitcoin and then people will go, well, in the last year, X is up 200% and Bitcoin's only up 100%, right? Okay. So let's say it's a 3-year race. Okay, so your random coin one year. And let's say they won by a lot, right? So year 1 they do nothing. Year 2 they do nothing. Year 3 they do 200%. And I said Bitcoin's just like 100, 100, 100. Right? Or year 3 you can even say they do 300%.
Yeah.
It laid flat for 3 years and then it tripled like XRP did.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what people don't know or people don't realize is something having 100% return 3 years in a row beats something going up 300%, right? So if you start with 100 grand, all right, so I'm the Bitcoin guy, we're just going to use XRP, but it could be anything, right? I'm the Bitcoin guy, he's the XRP guy, or he's the whatever guy that coin just spikes.
Yeah.
All right, so his $100,000 goes to $400,000 with $300K of that being profit, right? My $100,000 goes to $800,000 from 100% returns.
Do you want to like break that down? Because some people probably won't catch.
It's not going to
catch the math on that.
So year 1, 100% return. My 100 goes to 200. Year 2, 100% return. My 200 goes to 400. Year 3, 100% return. My 400 goes to 800. Right?
Yep.
I've doubled my money 3 straight times.
Yeah.
That's how you get from 100 grand to 800 grand in 3 years. Right? Even though, let's say, this random coin popped up and did 180%, and they go, well, blah, blah, blah is up 180%. Bitcoin only did 100%. Yeah, but consistently it's not beating it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if it does 14% one year, then it does 180%. Like, okay.
And that's why I know I'm beating a dead horse, but even when you go and price it in Bitcoin, that what you're explaining shows on the chart.
Yeah, it shows it on the chart.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's why you see it going down, then you see that little blimp.
Yeah. So imagine, you put majority of your liquid net worth into Bitcoin, and you have 100% return. You're 8 times wealthier.
Yeah.
In 3 years, bro. Like what? Even if you only have 5 bands.
Yeah. Facts.
Right? So year 1, your 5 goes to 10. Year 2, your 10 goes to 20.
Yep.
Year 3, your 20 goes to 40. Like what? And we're not even talking about the money you're adding in.
Yeah.
From you're working every 2 weeks, you're adding new money. We're just talking about that one time you bought $5K worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
3 years later, it's worth $40K.
And versus the guy who just puts $5K in the XRP, it triples, goes 300%.
Yeah, so you're like, bro, you're running a race, bro. You're running a race, and the 1 year period don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I know a lot of y'all like hoops, right? So let's say I don't know, hypothetically, like leading score, right? So let's say T-Mac's the leading scorer 1 year, but Bron is second. And then let's say Shaq's the leading scorer the next year, but Bron is second. And then let's say the next year it's Kobe's the leading scorer, but Bron is second.
Yeah.
And then Steph Curry's the leading scorer 3 years in a row, but Bron is third in each of those. And then KD's the leading scorer, but Bron is third. And then James Harden's the leading scorer, but LeBron is second, right? What you'll realize when it's all said and done, that LeBron James the NBA leading scorer, and nobody else came close, because it was the consistency, right? It was the consistency of always being second or third, even if you never flat out led ever in any year, or maybe you only did it a few times, right? How that works in investing is one, there is no Bitcoin's not coming second to anything.
Yeah.
It's smoking everything, right? But just imagine if it was coming in second every now and again, whatever. Bitcoin's smoking everything every year. So the gap to catch up becomes wider and wider and wider and wider and wider, where you're like, hey, bro, you really can't catch up.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a disservice, right? Like, you must not like money like you say you do. You say you're trying to get it wealthy. You say you're trying to do this for your family. Like I made a video before saying, like, hey, there's a lot of people that be like, hey, I'll do anything for my family. I'll do anything for my family. Like,
Can't
okay,
even read a book.
Read one of them books. Broken money, the price of tomorrow, hidden cost of money, fiat ruins everything, gradually then subtly. You do anything for your family, read all of those. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but bro, every year in and year out, you have consistently the best performing asset.
Yeah.
How fast do you think your net worth grows?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and people want even faster than that. And I'm like, how fast do you...
Now, you can get faster than that, but prepare to go zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And that's where the whole risk factor comes in.
And that's where the whole risk factor comes in, right? Like, it's like, or how likely it is to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you can say, oh, okay, we're not going to buy Bitcoin. We're going to buy this because it's 0.00004. And if it goes to $1, I'll be a millionaire. Okay, I can go buy a scratcher ticket at the gas station. And if I hit, I get 50 million. What's the chances is going to happen, though? Right? So if you have any, sense of like financial maturity, and you realize like, yo, we got to build this brick by brick, because nobody's coming to hand you your dream life. Nobody's coming to hand, you went looking at houses. Yeah. Right? Think about this. Houses will get more obtainable the more you stack Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, bro,
I was even looking at this. I wouldn't even trade my Bitcoin for this right now.
Nah, in fact, you got to get some new money on that house. Bro, I'm saying. But yeah, so that's what we trying to tell y'all, man. We're just trying to say, like, the compounding matters. And I want you to think about it the next time somebody brings up a one-off performance.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I don't even think, like how you were saying, the gap keeps getting wider because over time, 100%, 150%, 40% here, and these other coins aren't really doing anything. I don't think people realize that their coin from its all-time high priced in Bitcoin is like down like 90%.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't think people realize that.
We gotta keep beating on that price in Bitcoin, because I don't think y'all realizing what's happening. Like,
because one dude, I had posted like some video like talking about like this topic, and he was like, but you keep shitting on XRP, but XRP has been outperforming Bitcoin for the past 8 months, right? And I'm just like, dude. So I sent him, I think you even commented under it. I just sent him like, dude, the coin is down 80-90% against from its all-time high. Like, imagine if this was priced in dollars, right? This would be the equivalent to, like, let's say the all-time high of XRP is $1, and the coin is just sitting at 10 cents.
Yeah, you're bragging about the movement from 2 cents to 10 cents. Yeah, and you're like, yo, it needs to go back to $1. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah, man. And I know we crack on XRP, but it's literally anything that's not Bitcoin. The only thing that has outperformed Bitcoin is MicroStrategy, right? So on that note, we'll talk about this. There are companies that are adopting a Bitcoin standard that could get you more juice than Bitcoin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's because their ability to borrow money to get more Bitcoin, right? So they're basically just using financial engineering to get more US dollars to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah. So I would tell people like, yo, if you want to take a risk, or if you want to make an investment, because we look at Bitcoin as a savings account. Yeah. So if you want to take a risk or invest, go rock with one of those companies that are building using Bitcoin. Yeah. Right? So that's what I would say. Like, yo, if you want to speed the process up, maybe go look at that. But Bitcoin's our savings account. And I really hope y'all understand this compounding thing. Yeah. Right? I really hope y'all understand this compounding thing.
I think that point will there's gonna be some people who already knew that, but I feel like it's gonna be a new information to a lot of viewers. Like when they're kind of like navigating their like financial journey, they'll start seeing this how you were explaining with compounding. So that's,
Yeah, like bro, think about it. 100% 3 years in a row
yeah,
versus whatever 300%.
400, and I think Bitcoin's return is gonna be way high. My personal feeling is, with Bitcoin, it doesn't go where everybody thinks it's gonna go. I think everybody's everybody's, even though it could undershoot, but I think everybody's consensus is like, oh, 200K, like it's not gonna. I think it's gonna go way higher than a lot of people think.
My price target is 400.
Yeah, mine was like 450, 500. That's what I think, because just the, like the adoption that you're seeing, like the big, like a lot of big money coming into Bitcoin, like, and I know you were even explaining off camera about, you can even touch on it now, like just how you see all these large corporations, you see states applying for Bitcoin strategic reserves. You see Abu Dhabi, they bought $460 million worth of Bitcoin in Q1. You see Tesla buying more Bitcoin. You see all these large corporations, states, countries buying all this Bitcoin, and that's what's moving the price. It's not that we need to convince our next door neighbor to go and
hey, homie, come here. Check this out, bro.
Yeah, like
hey, we stuck in 96.
Yeah, like
what you could do for us, bro? We stuck in 96.
But yeah, like you even like do you want to touch on that, like how these other coins, or like these what are they called, the I'm losing my train of thought, the influencers are turning into like all these financial advocates and
so this is what I think, and I might be biased, but I think when people are like, yo, Bitcoin is not even what I think. When people are like, yo, you gotta look into Bitcoin, it's because it's like there's a new system in place and we don't want you to get left behind, right? Now people see that and then they go try to replicate it with something else, right? Yeah. So when they tell you, hey bro, go buy TTW coin, right? The reason that they're telling you to buy that is because they need your money to move the market, right? The market cap of Bitcoin is so large that I damn near average like $5,000 a day that I buy Bitcoin, right? I can't move it.
Yeah.
We at 2 trillion. You know what I mean? I can't move it. You can't move it. Everybody watching this, we all smash by right now. Unless some of y'all watching this is billionaires, we can't move it.
Yeah.
The money has to come. It has to be a large amount of money, right? We're at the point, the market cap for Bitcoin is so large that in order to move the price, we need a lot of money. Yeah. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from institutions. Right? Institution could be like a university. It's coming from corporations like Tesla, like he explained, right? It's coming from government structures. It's coming from state governments. It's coming from federal governments. Like Abu Dhabi, how much did they buy?
460 million in Q1.
460, like, bro, imagine when there's, imagine when it's Japan or Australia or, the United States, or imagine when it's this state of Texas or Wyoming or Ohio. You know what I'm saying? There's pension funds, there's insurance, there's corporations, there's all these large, big money, right? Big money will move the market. But when it comes to fuck coin, and the market cap of fuck coin is $100 million, then me and you can move the market. So what ends up happening is people go around saying, hey, no, don't worry about Bitcoin. Do this, because they know your money can move it. So they're like, hey, let's try to gather everybody up to, even
at a $2 billion market cap, you can.
Yeah, you can move it. Yeah, you're right. So what ends up happening is, because these people know this, whoever created those coins even pay people. They even pay people to promote the coin, right? So when anything other than Bitcoin, there's no Bitcoin company that's about to reach out and be like, hey, Chris, hey, OJ, y'all want to promote Bitcoin? There is none of that. We do this because it's a new system, and we don't want people to get left behind. This shit is helping us out. So we don't want y'all to get left behind, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, but when it comes to these fuck coins, like, bro, they're paying people to say this and say that. So you're thinking, when you go, y'all ever watch? I know y'all do, because if y'all watching us on YouTube, y'all probably watch crypto people on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Anytime they recommend anything, you need to think, how do I know they weren't paid to tell me this?
Yep.
So when somebody goes, here are my top 10 cryptos for 2025, how do you know they weren't paid to tell you that? Right? Okay, now let's say they were paid to tell you that. Hold on.
Oh, you gotta use the restroom?
Nah.
Oh.
All right, let's say they were paid to tell you, and you're like, bro, I'm not tripping. Like, okay, like they was paid to tell me. Who cares, right? All right, now hypothetically speaking, the company, let's say it's OJ, they're paying OJ. They give OJ 30 grand to talk about their coin, right? FCK coin, right? Bro takes his 30 grand, buys Bitcoin, or bro takes his 30 grand, puts it in his pocket, right? But he's telling you to buy it, right? My number one crypto for March 2025, FCK token, right? You go buy it, right? It tanks. He's not affected. Right? Because one, he either bought Bitcoin, or two, he didn't buy anything at all, but he told you to do it. Now, when you're sitting there watching your portfolio bleed out, you're not thinking, oh, I only bought this coin because he said. No, you're just like, I thought this thing was gonna go up, and it didn't. You know what I'm saying? People start looking at like lottery tickets, like, this was supposed to get me rich, it didn't. Let's just move on to the next one. But I also think that's why people fall in love with these altcoins and all this other stuff, is because they're listening to the narratives that people who are being paid to talk about it are telling them. This is why that this coin is gonna change the world, bro. I want to know, where are all those coins at now, right? All those coins from 2021 that were supposed to change the world. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna allow a company to I don't know, zap their customers every time they do this. Like, where is that shit now, bro? But now it's just another.
And my thing is, where do these like PR releases or this random news with no sources, is just like people just be waking up and pulling shit out their ass. They just wake up and say anything. Like,
breaking Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola is gonna buy every single XRP token ever made. Like, bro, what? Like, breaking.
And then some people just spread it around, and then once like a couple of days go by or a week go by, nobody ever follows up. Like,
and they're just looking for more.
The new one.
Like, and you know what kills me? Nobody ever says what happened to the. Bro, you remember allegedly Rolex was going to accept XRP?
Where's that at? Where's that at?
Remember Japan was going to buy all the XRP. Where's that at? Remember BlackRock was going to spend 10 trillion. People post and blast these news stories and they never follow up, right? Sometimes people try that with Bitcoin, right? And or they just talk about Bitcoin just to get people to listen, right? But they don't really even understand what they're talking about. So there's a difference between noise and signal. Right? Noise is just people yapping, bro. Or sometimes people would just put Bitcoin in their little post or put it in their tweet just to get attention. Like, you know who, bro? Oh, he's talking about Bitcoin in his post, like, bro, like just to get some clicks or engagement farm or whatever. And you're like, bro, there's noise and there's signal. You know what I mean? You're looking for the signal. You're looking for the, oh, I didn't realize that I should be pricing things in Bitcoin when I'm considering investing into something. That signal, right?
I was even, just to piggyback off, you were just the way you were explaining your point. I was even telling my girl this, like, isn't it? I was telling her, like, people think that me or you or any other Bitcoiner talking about Bitcoin is as if I'm trying to convince you to buy Bitcoin. Like, it's not that I'm trying to convince you. I'm trying to give you the cure to the problem. And then I was telling her, like, if you see all these other coins, they're the ones convincing you. It'd be like,
they have to convince you.
Like, it'd be like, let's say we live in a world where everybody has cancer, and
Yeah.
the equivalent to cancer is inflation. Like everybody deals with inflation, so we're living in a world where everybody has cancer, right? And let's say a group of guys figured out if you do 10 jumping jacks, your cancer is cured. And me and you figure that out, and we're just going door to door to people saying, hey, if you do 10 jumping jacks, your cancer is gone.
But mind you, we already did our.
Yeah, we've already done our 10. We've already done our 10 jumping jacks. So
yeah, we don't need you to do your 10.
We don't. I don't need. I've already done my 10, so I'm just here to help you. I'm explaining to you. If you do your 10 jumping, that your cancer is gone. You can live longer. You don't have to die. And then people come up to you like, "Hey, man, like get out of here. I don't want to listen to that. Like, why are you trying to force me to do these 10 jumping jacks to cure my cancer? That shit don't work." And they just go about their day. And that's how I feel about. With Bitcoin is not that I'm trying to go ahead.
Or it'd be like people would like walk up to you and be like, "Hey, bro, I know you said do 10 jumping jacks, but what do you think about me running sprints?"
Facts. Like you're like, bro.
What are you talking about?
We've already done the 10 jumping jacks. The people before us have already done the 10 jumping jacks. It is proven that this is what the cure is.
You know what I realized? This is why eventually a lot of Bitcoiners shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those Bitcoiners who were buying a shitload of Bitcoin, like, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, and now their content kind of just died out. They just live their life. You're like, bro, because who wants to hear people like you keep telling them they're wrong or they don't know what they're talking about, but their life keeps getting better. And you're like, all right, bro, hey, you got it, bro. You must
did his 10 jumping jacks.
Hey, you must like that chemotherapy, my boy. You must like chemo. Like you must like fighting inflation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we that's a good point. But yeah, so we just trying to lead people out. And another thing, like I say, is I think there's this big mind trick being played right now by the media.
Yeah.
Y'all got to understand the same people who own the banks own the media.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, they're going to downplay it. Of course, they're going to do all that stuff, right? But they're going to load up. Yeah. And then when it's common knowledge to invest in Bitcoin's going to be $2-5 million. And you'd be like, damn, I should have listened to them niggas when they was telling us back in the day. I should have been stacking up bit by bit.
It's funny that once you've learned enough and you know enough, you know that it's eventually going to get massively adopted. Like we can I don't see how people could see all this big institution and state and country level adoption and still want to go put their money somewhere in. That's another thing. Like when we were talking about the adoption. Okay, whatever token you're considering, right? The money has to come from somewhere, right? The money has to come from somewhere to send it up. It ain't gonna be a country, you know what I mean? A country, because if me and OJ develop our own token, why would Japan invest in it? Yeah, exactly. They know that you have all the advantage.
Yeah, okay, y'all buy it. We're going to sell it. Now y'all investment just went to zero.
Yeah.
Right? We got rich and y'all just wasted y'all country's money, right? So where's the money going to come from? Institutions aren't going to buy some things that me and him just created, right? Or that we have control of, right? So the state isn't gonna buy. Where is this money gonna come from? The only place it could come from is every individual, everyday individual people. That's why people are always advocating for fuck coins. Yeah. Right? Because they need that. That's where the liquidity is, right? I created a token out of nowhere. I dump it on the audience, right? And then, I walk away. They go broke. We walk away with money, and then we go launch it again or whatever. Yeah. But
and that's not even meme coins. It's all them coins. And it's crazy that people say so much about this coin's doing this coin's going to go here. Then why don't you mortgage your house? Why don't you sell everything inside of your house and go?
Oh, yeah. Like Buddy.
Yeah.
Bro, we watching some financial YouTuber. Bro got a $5 million investment portfolio. He has 10 grand in XRP, and he's making a video about why XRP can go to the moon. And you just start thinking, bro, think about this. You have less than 1% of your portfolio in this. You're making a video on it. The only thing that tells me is you were paid to make a video about that.
Exactly.
Because if you invested in, if you believed in it, you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have one.
You would at least have 10%.
Yeah, 10%,
or
right?
20. Like if you think it's gonna go to the moon.
That's another thing too. When people like try to argue with me, I'll just be like, post portfolio, and it's not to say you don't have as much money as I do. I want to see your conviction level.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because you have $8 in your coin, and you're telling me that it's like, hey, bro, shut up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Will argue with you with $200 worth of XRP.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you have $200 to your entire name is 100% allocated, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, respect.
Yeah, that's your conviction. It's
yeah,
100%.
you got 30 bands, and it's all in this token. Respect. At least you know what I mean. You're gonna be right. If you're gonna be wrong, go ahead and be wrong all the way. But yeah, that was kind of weird, bro. Like, hey, why you have less than 1% in this, but you're telling your hundreds of thousands of fans
to go buy it?
You don't even believe in it.
Yeah.
And chances are it was gifted to you.
Mm-hmm. Because less than 1% is insane. Like you would at least throw $100,000. Yeah. You have 10 bands.
10 grand.
They gave that to him.
Yeah. 10 bands to somebody with $5 million, y'all have to guess is like $20 to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
why wouldn't you just put your whole, if this is going to the moon, and nobody in the comments is going to check because people don't understand.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to look, oh, your portfolio allocate, why is it only, like people just say, oh, he said it's going to the moon. He has 10 grand worth. Let me load mine. Let me do this. Let me do that. And
yeah, this guy, the same guy that gets you clapped.
Yeah.
For all his other recommendations.
Cooked.
What else you got on that list, my boy?
All right. The gold audit app.
Oh, yeah. So allegedly, Elon is going to, in his his Doge team, they're going to audit Fort Knox. So for y'all don't know, all of America's gold is stored in Fort Knox, Kentucky, the military base. There, I believe, is 4,500 tons of gold there. And but nobody has audited or seen this gold since 1974.
Damn.
1974.
That's put their eyes on it.
That's 50 years ago, right? So there's one or two outcomes. There's three outcomes really. One outcome is that the gold is there, right? We have as much gold as we say we have. Cool. The price of gold probably shoots up.
Yeah.
Right. Option two is we don't have the amount of gold that we say we have. We probably don't have anywhere near close to that. I would be impressed if there was a Butterfingers down there.
That shit is not there. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, I'd be impressed if there was a Butterfingers down there. But what ends up happening is that's probably going to cause like a massive panic because a lot of the U.S. financial system is dependent on trust. Mm-hmm. So if they're lying about gold, what else are they lying about, right? Yeah. And that probably benefits Bitcoin actually. Or option three, which I believe is the most likely option, ain't nobody about to go audit that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody about to go audit that. But I don't know, man, because I mean, Trump's rocking with Elon, but I guess all the Congress members would have to be on board with that. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But it ain't no damn gold.
There's not.
If there's one Butterfinger down there, I'll give y'all free courses or something. but just think about that, man. Just think about how not only does America have their gold there, other countries believe that we have their gold there, or they'll send their gold, or we even create financial instruments on top of the belief that gold is there, right? So imagine you're trading gold contracts, or you're trading gold future based on where gold's going to go, and the gold's it don't even exist. Matter of fact, that's how we got off the gold standard in the first place, is French called the bluff of America when we kept creating more dollar notes on top of the gold, and France is like, we don't think y'all have that much gold, go ahead and send us ours back. Because remember, World War II was fought in Europe, all these countries sent America their gold so we can store their gold so it doesn't get damaged or whatever, right? Allegedly we have all this gold, man, Fort Knox, but I'm calling cap, bro.
Bitcoin solves so many
Yep.
So many problems.
If I have a company, if I say, hey, the Wealth Squad has a Bitcoin treasury, and we're holding 500 Bitcoin, we can just post the wallet address, and at any time any of our investors want to verify, they can just click that wallet. You know, so that's the thing, man. I think moving forward, we start to realize how important being transparent is, and how important it is to be like trustless, right?
Yeah.
So if I don't have to trust you, I can trust you more.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, you send me a Bitcoin, I don't have to verify the Bitcoin's real.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to verify that it's real, bro. You sent the Bitcoin, because the nodes are going to verify that the transaction is legit. The miners are going to verify that so it's a trustless system, right? I don't need to trust you. The computers are going to do that. Therefore, I can trust you more. Just press send. I see that I received it. But if I were to give you a bar of gold, you need to go verify that, one, it's real gold. Two, is it 18 carats versus 20 carats versus 24 carats, right? There's so many little things that, does it weigh as much as I say? Yeah. So the less I need to trust you, the more I can trust you, right? So I think Bitcoin's kind of exposing the flaw in all these different like financial instruments, and also is exposing the flaw in just how we do business, and how like, bro, technology is advanced, and it's, you know, we digitized everything already. Like, our relationships went digital, our photos went digital, our security went digital, all these things went digital. And our money, like with the US dollar, is digital. Like 97% of the US dollar is digital, right? Like, bro, most of y'all who say like we can't have a digital money, you already have a digital money.
Facts.
Or they be like, oh, what are you gonna do with Bitcoin when the power grid goes out? Like, you think you about to go swipe your Visa?
Facts, and that shit's about
bro,
to work.
You think you about to go swipe your Visa at ExxonMobil? When the power grid is, be for real. There's this meme on Twitter that's like, good luck playing with your Bitcoin when the sun explodes. like people come up with any scenario, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like, what else you got on that list?
Let's see. Oh, you know what I really wanted to talk about was that Libra. What is it, Libra, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Get on their ass.
It's so funny how just when that Libra coin had went to shit, and you just seen everybody on Twitter, or like the whole like crypto space going insane. They're like, oh, my account is getting rocked, this going, like the liquidity, a lot of liquidity from a lot of different coins, and a lot of altcoins are just getting drained, and you're just like sitting on the sideline as a Bitcoin. You're like, my portfolio has not moved whatsoever. Like,
he's talking facts. Crypto Twitter is like melting down over this thing right now, and me and bro are like, you trying to go hoop?
Yeah, like,
you trying to, I don't see what's the big, because I've seen it all playing out, right? And so for y'all who don't know, the president of Argentina drops he drops the address to this coin and a message basically saying that this coin is going to help, you know, improve Argentina. So everybody already is realizing how well that Trump coin did, right? But mind you, the Trump coin isn't a government coin. It's just Donald Trump, right? So the president, right, like drops a coin specifically saying you can invest into Argentina. You can imagine if Donald Trump were to say, this isn't the Trump coin, this is the America token.
People would go take out every last dollar.
We hit 5 trillion market cap instant, like the American token, what? Right? So what happened was it pumped for about 20-30 minutes, and then it dumped, right? So then it dumps, it goes, you know, to shit. The president deletes the tweet. Hey, bro's no different than, you know how rappers be doing their scam token?
Yeah,
and like,
bag, yo.
Yeah, like, or Scottie Pippen, all these dudes do their little scam token, and it goes right to zero, and then they delete it and say their account got hacked.
Yeah.
Bro pulled one of those. Like, he didn't even stand on it, right?
The whole president.
The president, dog. The president. hey, this is what we be talking about, like this trust, and like with Bitcoin, you don't have to trust anybody. Like, there's like, come on, bro. But anyway, so I'm not really like, I watch it play out, but man, I got a life to live, and I think maybe I was still in France when this happened, so I'm not really like thinking too much about it. I'm watching people complain about it. I'm, just like whatever. Like, I think I probably sent it to you and and Ace, and probably sent it to E. I'm not thinking too much of it, right? Now when I get on Twitter, I see like the whole crypto Twitter has changed, bro. Crazy. Like, everyone's like down and out.
Morale is crazy low. My morale is crazy high right now. I'm looking at $96,000 Bitcoin.
I almost dunked the ball. I'm gonna dunk the ball.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the morale of crypto Twitter is down, but the morale for Bitcoin Twitter is like, nigga, like, we're at a 96,000. This is just another day.
It's a dream come true. We got $96,000 Bitcoin. Facts. I bought some today. I bought some yesterday. No, but okay. So I started like researching. Like, okay, why was this such a big deal? Like, because I was barely paying attention to it. But then I realized, like, people were dumping their life savings into this because they're like, this ain't gonna be a pump and dump because it's the president of Argentina.
Exactly. This shit is gonna go up.
This is gonna be like a utility. They're gonna be able to fund things and do this. This is just going up. So people went heavy, right? Like, okay, so for some people, they see a little, meme coin, there's $200 that go to zero. They're not tripping, but they were like, yo, I missed that Trump pump. I'm not. This is even more official than the Trump one. So, man, I seen somebody say they put 200 bands, which was all their money in. That shit got
evaporated.
Vapor Max, right? Not to laugh at his pain, but
nah, I'm laughing.
But look, and the thing is, I guess he sent people in, like he brought his people in, right? And we talked about this on one of the other podcasts. Is like, bro, like, for me to come to a crossroad and say, hey, I can either stack Bitcoin in silence and just keep, doing what I was doing in the wealth school, or I can tell people like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm rocking. Like, I'm gonna lead people the right way because I know it's the right thing to do and because I did the knowledge, right? But okay, that's like a hard thing to do. If you're gonna lead people, you have to lead them right. It's a responsibility to be, a leader. But like, bro, led all these people into this stupid ass coin. Everybody got their shit vaporized. Like, everybody's, money is gone, and that's why you see the morale on crypto Twitter is like, bro, so we worked so hard. Imagine, like, the meme coin space is tricky as hell. Some people have caught a few plays, so they got a little money, and then you try to go big. You try to, get
your shit vaporized.
Get your shit vaporized. Like, now you're just staring at, like, $12 in a Kit Kat, and that shit sucks, bro. But the saying, the name of the game, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, man. And I hope that this ends up becoming like a learning lesson. Like that guy Bang, FaZe Banks is. Yeah, he ended up tweeting like, yo, if anybody ever comes and asks me about crypto, I'm just gonna tell them to buy Bitcoin. And you're like, you see people are starting to wake up to this shit,
because they're waking up because they see that, okay, out of all this late nights I'm doing, trying to trade these coins, invest here, do this, do that, I'm reading this back page of the technology they're gonna do, I read this press release, I tried to time and snipe this coin, I put all my money here. Just to go look, I've lost all my money, and Bitcoin is at the same price, if not higher. I could have just been buying Bitcoin because I get all the upside and minimize the downside. So I just really think people, they're gonna slowly every cycle there's gonna be more Bitcoin like only people because you're just gonna get cooked.
See, that's the only thing that's gonna happen. You're going to get cooked. So I want y'all to hear us out. Like, we're on a journey to build wealth. Like, and our journey's been going pretty well. And I'm really impressed with my boy. Like, Bro really locked in. Bro really did the knowledge. And what I think is so dope about him is like he was in a situation that most of you guys will find yourself in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like looking for the direction, and he's like, all right, this is what I think is the best thing to do, so let me do it. Right? But the execution, he damn near executed to perfection. You know what I'm saying? You did the knowledge. You understand what you're getting into. You stayed away from the dumb shit. You stayed away from, you know what I mean, upgrading your lifestyle too early and doing all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you still living your life. You still going on vacations. Like, bros in Dubai and Costa Rica, Mexico. Where else you been? France. Sweden. Bro's been everywhere. And it's crazy because, like, bro, if you just, like, go look on your Instagram, me and my brother talking about it. You go look on your Instagram, you just see your life getting better.
Yeah.
You just go scroll on, bro, Instagram. Like, this nigga life getting better.
As the Bitcoin price keep going high.
Bro, life getting better, right? So, like, I want y'all to realize, like, bro, you don't got to be stuck in the house just, you know,
doing nothing.
But what it does do is it takes a lot of pressure off of you, bro. Like, you're on an elevator going the right way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that I would just say that feeling of like, I tweeted this, like, you know, like all my 100% of my net worth is in Bitcoin. I'm sleeping great every night.
Sleep good at night.
Because it's like you, like I was saying, like you get the upside of, like, you know, investing, and then you minimize your downside risk, like investing in Bitcoin. Like we were saying, like all these coins are going down 80-90%. Bitcoin has moved 2%. And you're just like, wow, like not only is Bitcoin have been making these 100% returns, but the downside risk is pretty minimal compared to everything else.
Yeah.
And when you're on the right side of that, you just see all the noise happening around you, all the people jumping into all these things, people trading this, losing all their money. Like just hearing that guy's story that you sent, that you know how much of his life energy it took to muster up to $200,000, and he just lost it all in one day.
Trying to get it, trying to double your net worth.
Yeah.
Try to double your net worth in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Get zapped.
Like, think about that. You're trying to double your net worth in a few minutes. Like, just the way you can double your net worth in a few minutes, you can also vaporize your net worth in a few minutes.
That's why we say rule one. What's rule one, y'all? Rule one is to not lose money.
Yeah.
Like, that's it, bro. The rule one is not lose
like
money.
I always be saying, like, trying to get rich fast is the fastest way to being broke. Like, you're trying to multiply your money so quick, you're gonna get clipped. Like the 11 flip chart. Never mind, but yeah, like you try to multiply your money.
We'll say that. We'll save that for the next episode.
Yeah, but you know, just try to multiply your money so fast.
Hey, you seen that meme with that one YN with the switch? He's like, fuck.
Yeah. The nigga with that cap on with the dread.
Hey. Nah, but go ahead, bro.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, try to multiply your money so fast. It's just gonna lead to, like, just losing all of it. Like, you're not smart enough to time the market. You're not smart enough to get in and out. You're not smart enough to know when, okay, I've doubled my money, I'm out. Like, most people walk away with nothing. Like, all you altcoin...
What, you tweet something like that?
Yeah, like, all you altcoin people or all you other this people, like, please find me the people that you know investing in these coins that have quadrupled their money and they cashed out and walked away with it. Like, I feel like none of us know. All we know is we see these tweets of guy bought Solana at $8. It's $160 now, but it's like,
What's crazy is I can identify on crypto Twitter probably about like 4 or 5 people that got like ridiculous amounts of bread, like maybe 5 M's and up. And I would say there's probably out of those 5 people, let's say 3 million people have lost crazy amounts of money.
Exactly.
It's almost like, hey, bro, yo, it's not really worth it, you know? So for y'all who are watching this that are dabbling in that side of like crypto, leave it alone. For y'all who don't know anything about what we're talking about, you're like, hey, we just came for the Bitcoin knowledge. Stay focused on Bitcoin, right? It's going to save you a long way, right? So there's an analogy I always told my sisters growing up is like, when you're on your life journey, and maybe I told you this before too, it's like, let's imagine you're here in California and you need to go to New York.
Yeah.
Right? That's your life journey. So you hop in a car and you just ride, and you got to stop for gas, you got to get food, blah, blah, blah. But people come along the way and they get in the car with you, right? Your friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, they get in the car with you. And it's on you to say, you can get in my car and ride with me as long as you're headed in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you got to go from the bottom over here to California, up here to New York, and let's say they want to go to, I don't know, somewhere out the way, like they want to go to Washington, that's going the wrong way. What ends up happening is you drive to Washington, they get out of the car, now you have a further distance to go, right? So that applies to life, that applies to relationships, and that applies to finance as well, right? You'll find yourself getting to where you want to get quicker in a safer manner by just sticking to the GPS.
Yeah.
Right? Sticking to the GPS. Now, if you want to make, like we were saying, if you want to take a little shot or whatever, then do that with things that are built on top of the Bitcoin standard. Right? Like, you know, you go find those companies that are implementing Bitcoin that can use Bitcoin as like, you know, to propel themselves forward. But for the most part, bro, just stick with Bitcoin, right? You want to make more money, cool, go get more certs, go find a better job, go learn a trade, go join the military, do whatever, right? And then just get as much Bitcoin as you can, because you're on the side of large money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why wouldn't you want to be on the side with the biggest money? You know what I'm saying? You're in a growing network. The network itself is growing, but there's only 21 million coins. You know what I'm saying? So what's crazy too is like how you were saying you don't even look at those altcoins with the USD price anymore. Yeah. I don't even think about Bitcoin as like going up or going down because I have the same amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? I hope that makes sense to y'all. So let's say I have 10 Bitcoin, right? And the US dollar price for the Bitcoin is 100,000. And then it falls to 50,000, right? My Bitcoin ain't down.
Yeah.
I had 10 Bitcoin and I still have 10 Bitcoin. That's how I look at it, right? Yeah. If it goes up, like, I had 10 Bitcoin, I still have 10 Bitcoin. So when you think about it like that, then you'll realize that the price going up kind of hurts you. Because when the price goes up, when you're getting your USD from providing value to society, you get dollars, and now you need to spend those dollars to get more Bitcoin. Because the goal for me and the goal for OJ is to have more Bitcoin, not more dollars.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. So if I'm taking my dollars to get more Bitcoin, but the dollar price of Bitcoin is higher, that's hurting me. So when the dollar price of Bitcoin is lower and I'm getting more dollars, I'm like, cool. Yeah. I can stack up for cheaper. I used to have to buy the Bitcoin for 100, now I could buy it for 50. Right? Yeah. So when I get 100, my Bitcoin stack can go from 10 to 12, just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've made the decision based on the knowledge that I've done that I want more Bitcoin, not more dollars.
Yeah.
You made that decision too, right?
Yeah.
So when you see the price consolidating, you're like, cool.
Yeah.
Right? Get paid, you know what I mean? Like you made a big purchase recently. Like imagine you made that purchase at what, like 96,000? Yeah. Imagine if the price was at 110, you would have got less Bitcoin.
Exactly.
I don't want less Bitcoin. I want more Bitcoin. So send the price lower. You know what I'm saying? But you have to, like, the more you do the knowledge and the more that you understand, these type of things will become natural to you. Yeah. The same way that, like, looking at anything priced in Bitcoin is how you evaluate it. Bro, even when I look at cars, man, like y'all know, I went to Rolls Royce Cullinan. I'm like, is that worth 4 Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no.
Because eventually it's just going to be 0.1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, bro, 4 Bitcoin gonna get. I'm gonna buy Puerto Rico for 4 Bitcoin. Bro, what? I'm buying Puerto Rico and Haiti for 4 Bitcoin. I promise you, right? Like, so it makes you question everything, right? Like naturally, not no anti like, oh no, I ain't trying to live my life. I'm a hermit. No, I like fly shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like fly shit. I like taking trips. I like, hanging out with y'all, giving my kids new experiences, all that stuff. But you just start seeing things different. You like, bro, in 10 years, that car, that $400,000 car is going to be worth, what's a 10-year-old roll? Well, they didn't have the Cullinan 10 years ago, but
maybe like 80, 60, 70.
Yeah, that 400K car is going to be worth 70 grand. But that 4 Bitcoin in 10 years is going to be 4 M's.
Yeah.
Right? And then 10 years from there, it's going to be like 40 M's and 400 M's. And then I'm going to buy Puerto Rico. And you're like, man, like that's the way I see it. And it's based on the knowledge that I've done. You know what I mean? So I'm sticking to my guns, bro. So no matter what goes on, this is my path. And for y'all who have been coming on this path with me, y'all see how dedicated I am to this path. This is the way out. We getting out the hood with Bitcoin, I promise you.
Yeah. But I think we covered all the points for this episode. I don't know if you had any more points you wanted to go over, but I think we gave a lot of knowledge this episode just to reassure people and just to show people, just start looking at things differently. Don't fall asleep when you see times like this. This is the time where you should be as alert as possible. Like, this is your opportunity to be loading up, because eventually once Bitcoin breaks this consolidation level, that's where the volatile movement starts happening.
Yeah, wait, that's the last thing that I want to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I seen this chart, somebody like broke down the days, right? And it's like a major consolidation for 129 days, and then Bitcoin goes up for like 26 days. Major consolidation for like 129 days. I think those are the numbers, right? But I mean, the maths, right? Where you just go, the market can only move, in one of 3 ways: up, down, or sideways, right? So you go up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways. That's the bull market, right? So what we're doing right now is we're just consolidating, going sideways, right? Our next leg up probably takes us to 130, right? We'll say on the low 120 and the high 150. And then maybe we trade sideways at 150 for a minute. Exactly. And then eventually we'll run to the 180s or the 200s, right? When we get there, and we will get there, you're going to wish you can go back and buy more $95,000 Bitcoin. Exactly. The same way right now at 95,000, you wish you could go buy more 60. And at 60, you wish you could go buy more 20. You know what I'm saying? So don't fall asleep. Like OJ was saying, do not fall asleep, bro. So is that it for us?
Yeah, that's it. And if you made it to the end,
no Z-Quill.
Yeah. Yeah, you was quick with that. I was going to say some bullshit. Yeah, no Z-Quill.
If you made it to the end, drop no Z-Quill in the comments, man. We not falling asleep. We stacking up. All right, you trade those fuck coins, you will get vaporized.
Facts.
Like, yo, shit
over a long
zero.
period of time, it could be seconds, minutes, days, years, you will get vaporized.
And look into, I want y'all to go play with a compound interest calculator. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Because also, once you truly understand the power of compounding, all these other distractions, like, it won't make sense, right? Like, once you start the compounding, the goal is to never stop it. So when someone's like, oh, like, well, why don't you take one of your Bitcoin and do this? Fuck no. Fuck no. Yeah, you feel me? So, all right, y'all. So if y'all made it this far, man, drop no Z-Quill in the comments. We'll be back for the next episode way quicker than what we did. OJ had technical difficulties.
It was your technical.
OJ had technical difficulties.
I've been ready. It's been his technical.
Now we gonna drop, like, I'll tell y'all what, if we get 200 comments, we'll drop back to back.
Nigga, that 200 comments will come immediately.
Nah, if we get 200 comments in 48 hours, we'd drop another one. We'd sit right back down and record another one with another set of topics.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, no Z Quill in the comments. Don't trade fuck coins. That's how you get vaporized. Chris, that's OJ Bit by Bit Podcast, episode 5. We out.